Hello, everybody. Welcome to my very first video to the channel. My name's Zach, and I am really excited to start this YouTube channel, uh, mainly devoted to cool, creative endeavors. Some people will not like that I'm using the word creative. I don't know, maybe. But I am very interested in AI art and the things that I personally find it that I use it for. So today I'm not going to mess around. We'll get into in the later video. I'm going to talk a little bit about like my personal feelings about AI art and stuff like that. Long story short, I think it's an awesome tool. And as somebody who's always wanted to be able to devote more time to art and creative endeavors, I think it's an amazing tool. But I want to start off today with a fun thing that is going to be I personally use Midjourney, and I personally find that it's actually worth it. It is a pretty hefty price, and I don't think I'll, depending on what is there. Obviously, it's outside of some people's price range, but I think the work that it is doing lately. I'm recording this in November 2022. They recently came out with their first version 4 model, and it's pretty amazing. So I thought I would have a fun experiment where we're going to use Pokemon as a way of illustrating what it's capable of. Something very important to note, for those of you who don't know what Midjourney is, it is an AI art program, and the only prompts that I have used with each of these is just the word Pokemon and then the name of the Pokemon. I'm going to go through the first 25 Pokemon of the Pokedex. Depending on how long this video is, I might go longer, or I'll do multiple videos in the future if you guys like this. But I think it's cool, and we can learn some interesting things about AI art as we go about doing this. Okay, so first 25 in the Pokedex. I'm looking at my own camera here. I'm gonna move that so that I'm not looking at weird stuff. I have no idea if this is gonna make it look weird, but hey, you know what? Thank you. By the way, subscribe to the channel, like the video, all that jazz, ring the bell or whatever you people do. This is really cool though. I'm really excited about this because again, all I did was I put in the word Pokemon and then the name of the Pokemon. So we're going to go through the first 25. What's really cool about this is that I'm going to point out different things that I notice within this, both the things that the AI is doing really well at reproducing, as well as looking at some of the things that it makes some interpretations. And for people who aren't aware, how AI algorithms work for art is that they're trained first off on a series of images, but also there's some sort of comparison and interpretation going on even as it's being trained. So it's learning what different words mean and what they look like. So for example, looking at this one, there's a couple of things to pay attention to. First one is, of course, everybody knows that Bulbasaur has this bulb on his back. It's turned into this weird leaf thing, which is interesting. There's a lot of like grass here, which is also obviously pretty cool. Really nailed the face. I love the face here. There's some interesting, maybe what is the beginning of teeth. Also currently, Midjourney right now, I think the version 4 algorithm is only outputting at 1024. Don't quote me on that. It's a fairly low resolution image, and I haven't done any touch-ups, any scaling or anything like that. But overall, I think it did a really good job with Bulbasaur, probably because Bulbasaur is very common, and it was probably trained on multiple different pictures of Bulbasaur. I don't think that's going to be the case with some of these in the moving forward. So let's, there we go. Next. Okay, Ivysaur is the next one here. These are going in order. Ivysaur, you're terrifying. By the way, a couple other things. Midjourney gives us 4 of these. Maybe in the future, if you guys want, I can give multiple different. I can show all 4 of them and then just sort of pick one that I really liked to zoom in on it or something. I don't know. But interesting little fuzz balls here. Obviously, Ivysaur normally has that bulb on his back, right? Not the bulb, sorry, the budding flower. It's like a young flower, hasn't bloomed yet. The eyes are freaking me out here. The nose is doing these weird things where it can't decide what to draw, it looks like. There's an interesting texture of the fur here, though, which is interesting, right? I don't know what these little green fuzz things are. They're like little thistle balls or something. Overall, I'd say this one was kind of a fail, and it was actually the best of the four. I don't want to do this thing as I'm going through these as well. By the way, I could sit and have say like, hey, do a bunch more iterations and stuff like that. I think part of the fun is seeing what it comes up with. So Ivysaur, kind of a weird one, right? Venusaur, love this one. The flowers more on his head. Venusaur traditionally maybe more on his, the leaves should be on his back. Like it's kind of nailed the basic pieces, but it hasn't done it all perfectly. I can't remember. Maybe I should be putting the sprites or something like that of the originals down too, so we can compare them. Way too many fingers. That's a common thing with Midjourney. Well, with all AI art, hands are very challenging to draw. Recently, it's been nailing faces in a way that I've never really seen before. Look at the texture of the iris, for example. Very cool. Even like these bumps on the on his snout here. There's got some texture on some of those, right? Which is very cool. Some like opening. The flower's a little goofy. You can't tell if it's supposed to be like round or if it's like flat. It's drawn that a little weird, but overall, right? Like, dang, like, and what's interesting is that a year ago, this was nowhere near like, and you never would have gotten a cohesive image. In other words, like it wouldn't have looked like anything. Whereas now, we're making some real progress in AI art, and I think like a year from now, I'm really excited to see what to look for and what to see. Charmander, little buddy, look at the fire in his eyes, man. Look at this. Look at the reflections, the use of the light here. Very cool. Kind of white rim lighting, and like even around the back here. See this? You see that? That's like, that's some good understanding of lighting there. And again, it's emulating or mimicking what an artist would understand, but it's picking up on these principles and it's using that. Now, this is something that specifically Midjourney's model is trained in such a way, and the algorithm works in such a way that it's going to create something a little bit more artistic and a little bit more pleasing to the eye. And so for those people out there who say, oh, well, it's not art or whatever, dude, you look at this picture and you tell me that that's not art. Like, come on. That's great. And what I love about these two, and this is something that's interesting throughout all of these, is it's not quite Pokemon, right? Like in this, and this is just an example, but it's not quite there, but it's close. And it actually, for what I use a lot of AI art tools for, is a lot of world building. I'm a dungeon master in D&D. I can do a video in the future about, you know, how I use that for world building, but this is great, right? Like to be able to show, oh, this is what this little dude, if this was like a little monster in D&D or something, to show my players, dude, that's awesome. Charmeleon, again, similar sort of like the personality that we've got here. Interesting sort of weirdness with his claws. Again, they didn't get the horn, but overall the vibe is there. And as you'll see with Charizard here, like that's awesome, right? It is clearly a Charizard. Here's whatever's going on with his like flank here is a little bizarre, right? But come on, like again, we're moving in such an amazing direction, and I used 2 words to give this, right? We're constantly improving. Squirtle's a cool one. There's some weird, like, it's cool that it's put the bubbles around it. Again, his claws are a little weird, mouth is a little goofy maybe, but overall, and one of the things you'll notice here, see this here, this little a lot of these, it will have some kind of like signature. You can try and put prompts in, what they call negative prompts. So you can say no lettering, for example, and it will try to accommodate that. And I mean, honestly, like for some of these things, after I have done it, these are all untouched. I haven't touched them up, but like you can go and like touch this up, like this little weird middle third nostril or whatever. I just delete that or kind of paint over it. You can edit some of that stuff pretty easily, but overall, very clearly a Squirtle. They've even done some cool stuff here with like the pattern, the like stripes or something. I don't know if it's supposed to be light or it's just like a weird sort of artifact that's happened, but very cool. War Turtle. This one is again, it's those middle forms, right? Like his toe. What's going on with his toes here and his hands? But the faces are all great. Like there's work that still needs to be done. And again, these are things that it's training on the basic thing and then trying to understand what it's looking at. It doesn't know what a Pokemon is, right? It doesn't know that it's looking at something specific. It does know what a turtle is though, and it knows what an anime style is. And so it's kind of and then I assume that it would have some sort of association between Pokemon and anime and those sorts of things that would make some of those connections. So some things here, the shell, it's got some great texture there, some goofy wings or something on that, but overall pretty cool. Blastoise, one of my favorite Pokemon growing up as a kid. First starter, fully evolved starter. Very complicated to draw, and specifically for an AI to look at and understand, right? So it's clearly knows that there's some kind of like tank thing on its back with the guns. And again, all I wrote was Pokemon Blastoise, and this is what it came up with. So it's interesting. Like, does it think it's a kaiju or something here? I don't know if this is picked up on like if this was like a mega evolved version or not that. Whatever the Gigantamax, I guess, right? There's like, are these little buildings they're supposed to be? I don't know. It's very cool though. I like the style. It's a different interpretation of it. I chose this one because the guns they're not pointed in the right direction, but they were present. So a little bit of work to do here. As we get into the lesser known Pokemon, you're going to notice things are going to get weird. So Caterpie. Okay, this is Caterpie. This is not Caterpie. This is AI's interpretation of Caterpie. There's some weirdness over here, right? This is not what Caterpie looks like, but it's funny. Metapod is another one. Like, I don't know what this is, but here's Metapod. He's kind of a weird looking dude. Butterfree. This is it's a butterfly, and it's like a weird looking thing, right? But I don't know. It's kind of it's a Butterfree. Same thing with Weedle. Weedle traditionally has a big old horn on his head. None of the four showed up with that on here. They just showed up as a worm. And this one might be my favorite reinterpretation. This is Kakuna. This is not at all what Kakuna looks like, but I love him all the same. He's so goofy, and like the face, the eyes, very weird, but very cool. Okay, Beedrill. He's got like this like traveling neck pillow. The eyes, he is in pain, and Beedrill I don't think has a mouth, right? And he's like missing one arm. Like maybe it's because he's got his arm ripped off or something. I don't know. But overall, wow, is the look that he's kind of got here going on, and even here, look, see, like this line somehow turns into his wing. It's goofy, but it's cool to get some ideas, right? And honestly, if I spent time really working to try and get better versions of these pictures, then we would probably get something else out of it. But I think part of the fun of this is to really see what the decisions that the AI is making in some of these, or the interpretations, because basically how this works is it will start with some noise, and then with each iteration get closer and closer until eventually it reached this, which very clearly it understands Beedrill is a bee, and it's got some weird anime stuff to it, and apparently he has a mouth now. I don't know. Pidgey's a bird, right? Pidgey's a bird. Yeah, that's I wonder, the next time I do this, I'm gonna have some reference images so that we can compare. But I am pretty sure Pidgey, I mean, it's got some, right? It's got like the black around the eyes in the same way. It's got the same basic color, right? The same basic color that's there. The like maybe a little bit of the black around the eyes there, but overall not bad. Pidgeotto, similar sort of thing. And again, these like little image things here, it's just mimicking what other kinds of artists sometimes do. And then, yeah, Pidgeot. It's interesting that it doesn't like, there's this one clearly is smaller, but this one and then this one, they don't look all that different. I guess the Pidgeot, the 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 hair, the feathers at the top, there's a lot there. And if I really wanted to, I could have, maybe if I was actually looking to do something that was really getting everything that I wanted out of it, maybe I would have like, I'd say like Pidgeot angry flying or something, right? And then it would get more of like a dynamic and interesting facial expression on it. But I love this picture. Just the look on his face, like he's sort of a mix between like Ratatouille almost in a sense. But this is great. In fact, I tried doing, before I was just playing around with it. If I didn't put the word Pokemon in it, it literally was just creating like Ratatouille stuff from the Pixar movie. So, but one of the things, like it's got this weird thing here. Hands are surprisingly good, actually. And then the feet are a little goofy. Tail's doing some goofy stuff. But overall, I think this actually is a really great picture. And if I were to iterate on it some more, I think we'd get some really cool stuff out of that. Oh, Raticate, on the other hand, I think one thing is that I feel like it might be pulling from Raticate and Alolan Raticate. This is a very rough picture, but I chose this one for a couple reasons. One of them is to kind of show like maybe if it was trained on both regular Raticate and the Alolan Raticate, which is a totally different design. There's sort of the big black ears here. There's like two black tails or something. It's very messy. The teeth are coming out of weird places. And also, which one is the eyes? This black one or the little beady ones? Because I don't know. I showed this to my son today, and he was like, "Oh, it's a weird like belly bolt situation." If you're familiar with the new Pokemon game coming out in November, then there's a new Pokemon called Belly Bolt where he's got like weird two faces or something. So this is not Eradicate, but it's this is Spearow, which I hadn't noticed the hands until just now. But that's terrifying. Not correct at all, but it's a thing, right? We've got some stuff here. There's some things here, some cool design. And again, keep in mind, like a year ago, AI could not have done anywhere close to this. So it's very cool to see what it's doing now versus what it was doing a year ago. And then Fearow is a chicken, apparently, like a rooster. It is not a Fearow. Fearow, if you're familiar, is a very sort of big thing. But yeah, I kind of like the chicken design of this here. So there you go. Ekans, this is another one. Of course, Ekans is just spelled snake backwards. It's a very sort of sinister, weird looking. It's got some weird decisions here with like the abs on his head. I don't know if that's how snake heads normally look. The obviously the nostrils are a little goofy. Not the greatest. The Arbok is even weirder. I think that because it's a cobra, it is quite weird. Although it's interesting looking at like, I hadn't noticed the weird feet here either coming out of this. It's like, in other words, the AI has no idea what an Arbok is. It really tried. I think that again, the cobra design of Arbok on the frill of the cobra totally threw the AI off when it was trying to learn what it was, obviously. But it's got like weird eyes. Oh, there you go. Look at that. Pikachu. Obviously Pikachu was going to be one of the best trained ones. I loved this little shot that came out here. Very cute. All of the pictures of Pikachu that are coming out of this are very coherent, and the eyes, man, right? Like the similar kind of like the look and the little like lens flares over here. Very, very cute. It's got some weird like, is he wearing a vest or shoulder pads or something? I don't know, but very good. And then the last one here is Raichu. I guess. But it's another weird one. I like these though because it's not perfect. Like you can even see like the little hint of like lightning kind of coming out of his ears for some reason. But yeah, that's Raichu, and I think that's the last one that I have set up here. Okay, all right. So that is thanks everybody for watching this. That is a little bit of a walkthrough of AI art through from Midjourney. I would love to do more of these. I think this is fun. I actually have the next set of 25 all set up. So if you guys, I think it's going to be a matter of figuring out like what's the right length of video. What are the things like how do you guys want to do that? But thanks for watching this. Leave a comment below which one's your favorite, and if you have any other ideas for AI art, let me know, because I'm really excited about just kind of doing this for fun. I'm really interested in AI art, and so it's something that the more engagement that I have with everybody, and if this is really hitting a nerve with people and enjoying it, I would love to keep doing more. So thanks everybody for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.